But about 15 years ago, we decided that the only way to move forward is to focus on the pain, to focus on unsolved issue, to focus on disease that up to now didn't have any solution. And in addition, we're looking for disease that are very common. We're not looking for orphan drug, for treatments that will be available only for a few patients. We are looking for blockbuster, a solution, a pain that is very, very common, and a solution that will be able to solve this pain for millions of patients worldwide every year.
Shai Meretzki, welcome to 20 Minute Leaders. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Great. Hi, Michael. Nice being here.
Really, really great to have you here, Shai. Shai, you're one of Israel's most prominent biotech entrepreneurs. You've been leading companies from engineering to technology to from an entrepreneurial perspective for the last more than 20 years with a PhD in biotech from the Technion, one of the most prominent institutions in the world, particularly for these types of fields. And so a lot to unpack because biotech has took the world by a storm over the last 20 years, literally revolutionized and revolutionizing the lives of all of us, whether we know it or not. And so I'm really excited to spend the next 20 minutes with you to both go through your own journey and to explore how this industry has emerged and evolved over the last 20-something years, and also focusing what you're doing today around cell therapy and tissue engineering. So a lot for us to unpack, Shai, but let's start a little bit with you and your relationship with biotech. Walk me through, sort of what you've done over the last 20 years.
Okay, great. I'm active in the field of cell therapy and tissue engineering, which is a very well-defined area within the biotech or biomed field. I came from biotechnology. I have first degree in chemical engineering. I have additional first degree in biology, and my master and PhD are in biotechnology. In my master and PhD, we're the first group ever that have developed the ability to grow cells in three-dimensional, meaning in high-level construction of cells, something much more similar to any tissue within our body. And when I finished my PhD, I bought my patents. All the patents developed by students belong to the academic institute. So I bought it from the Technion Advancement Institute and kept on developing cell therapy and tissue engineering product. Now, in my point of view, the main thing about cell therapy and tissue engineering is the fact that it's the only therapy that really heal people. When talking about medical process, when talking about what we have currently within the med field, which is pharma and medical device, it doesn't really heal you. They allow you to manage the disease. They allow you to live with the disease. But new tools, especially in cell therapy and tissue engineering, allowed you actually to get to the roots, to the base of the damage, and to get a complete and full healing. I'm jumping forward, but, a lot of time it's much easier to see things than talk about it. I'll show you what we are doing. This is a live bone. A live bone, and you can see here a crazy bone gap. Look at it next to my hand. This is a gap of over 10 centimeters in length. If a patient losing more than 2 centimeters of his bone, most of the chance that he will lose the arm or leg. The current treatment for those patients are very, very hard, very painful, very damaging, within very limited success rate. We are able to develop the ability to take small sample of cells, and I will talk about it soon, from the patient and to grow him a new bone. We are growing for the patients that have lost bone a new bone from his own cells, so the body will not reject those cells. We're growing it outside the body within systems that mimic the physiological microenvironment and his body. And currently, within 2 weeks, we are capable of growing a new, live, active, viable bone instead of bone that the patient have lost. And see, after we put it within the body, you can actually, you cannot tell the difference between the original bone. You remember, all this is cavity. And the new bone that is filling the cavity. You're getting a bone that's identical to the original bone from all aspects. Biological, chemical, immunological. You're getting a new, live, active tissue. And when I was talking about inducing a full and complete healing, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're having a gap, you're losing something, regardless of the reason. It could be trauma, it could be war in Gaza, it could be infection, it could be osteoporosis, it could be aging, regardless of the reason. We are capable of creating a new tissue instead of the one that was lost. And this new tissue is identical to any other tissue you're having within your body. And again, we are talking about complete healing. It's not prostate, it's not metal part. It's your own live, active arm, leg, and you can keep on working, living the same way you did before.
Tell me a little bit about the what got us here. What were the forces that allowed us for you to show me this today? So is this something that we had 20 years ago when you started in the industry after your PhD? Are these new technologies or new capabilities that we're developing now? Where are we at really at this stage with this type of work?
When I when I finished my PhD, we had the capacity, the ability to grow cells. Actually, at the time, we didn't know what to do with it. So we can grow cells. Nice, great. Who needs cells? We have enough. But about 15 years ago, we decided that the only way to move forward is to focus on the pain, to focus on unsolved issue, to focus on disease that up to now didn't have any solution. And in addition, we're looking for disease that are very common. We're not looking for orphan drug, for treatments that will be available only for a few patients. We are looking for blockbuster, a solution, a pain that is very, very common, and a solution that will be able to solve this pain for millions of patients worldwide every year. So we decided to we knew there is a lot of pain within the bone field. Again, currently the only solution for those patients is to take a bone from one location, to cut it and to move it into the gap location, which is very hard, painful, damaging process. The success rates are very, very low. A lot of time the damage in the harvesting area is even harder than the damage in the transplant location. And we want to save this complete aspect. And our approach was to take a small sample of cells from the patient. Currently, our raw material is a small sample of fat tissue that we're taking from the patient. All of us have more than enough fat tissue. We're taking a small sample and we're growing those cells. We're isolating from the fat tissue cells called mesenchymal cells. They're responsible within our body for the damage control. If a patient burned, cut, broke some tissue, they are the cells that will come to the damaged area and fix it. Nevertheless, if the damage is too wide, they cannot do it by themselves. So we sample them, we grow them in vitro, in this kind of system that mimic our body. The cells grow here. They don't know they really left the body. They're getting everything they need in order to proliferate. They're getting the oxygen and the protein and the mineral and the vitamin, everything they need in order to grow. They proliferate in this system. And within about 2 weeks, we're getting enough bone tissue to gap the cavity. And up to now, we have treated tens of patients, currently only in Israel. But I believe that this year we open center in the US as well. Um, and we are capable of helping all those patients.
Incredible. So, first of all, it's really really exciting. I mean, that sounds fascinating. Just this ability to take somebody who has, a what it sounds like a gap in the bone, and to be able to extract some fat tissue, be able to grow that bone outside the body, and then have a procedure without damaging another aspect of their body. Right. That's the big from what I understood. Um, Now, tell me a little bit about from an entrepreneur's mindset. So, first of all, let's start a few years down the line. So, you're this is what you're dedicating your time to from a business perspective, a commercial perspective. What is your vision for 3 to 5 years down the line? How big do you think this can be, and what is the impact that you think this can have, in terms of reach?
I think that the fact that currently within the med field you have the pharma and medical device section open the place for a third section, which is actually the cell tissue and tissue engineering field, which can be as big as those two fields. Again, because the fact that it really induces healing and people want to be younger, healthier, they want to heal the disease, not to manage the disease. And again, we can do it. And only in this field of the bone reconstitution, the bone remodeling, we're talking about millions of patients in the US every year. People are losing bone all the time. And we offer them to keep the bone, to get the bone younger and active as it was at their use.
Wow. So, do you foresee that this type of work will not only be to heal diseases, but also to help people with diseases that are less, I guess, notable in terms of their in terms of how we think about them? So, almost sort of being able to regenerate and to become younger internally as we grow older.
Definitely, definitely. The first step is to heal damage that was already done, to treat bone cavity, to treat fracture or bone gap that were done. This is the first stage. The second stage is to prevent it. There are a numerous reasons for losing bone. For example, the first reason for patient to lose bone is osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is aging disease. 50% of the women above 55 and 10% of the males suffer from osteoporosis. In osteoporosis, you lose bone mass. Think about the ability within relatively very simple process to get into those cavities within the bone and to fill them. The bone will not break again. You're actually solving the cavity, the damage before it is done. And here talking about preventive treatment, this is the next step, but the need is there, the population is there, and we'll be more than happy to help all those patients.
Absolutely. Wow. And so tell me a little bit about, but this type of field from an entrepreneur's perspective. Is this only relevant for people who have advanced degrees in biotech? Are there opportunities? I'm thinking about all the work that we get to do, growing up in the cyber domain, and more generic engineering work and machine learning. What would it take for somebody who's really interested in this field and wants to have a positive impact, be able to come and work in the domain of biotech today?
Actually, one of the things that is very important, not in the biotech, but in our field of cell therapy and tissue engineering, is the fact that it's combined knowledge from variety of field. In my company, located in Haifa, Israel, you have tens of patients, tens of PhD from different fields. Of course, you will find the biology people and the biotechnology people, but you will also find clinician and people coming from mechanical engineering, from material, from chemistry, from software and hardware, because we are talking about creating system, complete live system that should be supported from all aspects. So you need people coming from variety of field, variety of knowledge, and you need to combine all of them together in order to get these very unique abilities to mimic the body, to control the growth, and to get exactly what you want at very short time and reasonable cost.
Right. And so that it sounds like those that are coming from more traditional machine learning backgrounds, engineering backgrounds, there are definitely opportunities there as well.
Definitely AI all over.
What's been your personal experience over the last 20 years? So I understand what you're doing today, and it sounds extremely exciting. But you've had the opportunity of working in multiple capacities in this field. What how has your own experience changed over time, either due to public perception, awareness, excitement around the industry? What's been evolving over the last 20 years?
I think when we started working within this field of cell therapy, of tissue engineering, actually it was sounds like science fiction. Nobody believed it's doable. It was at some point in the future, someone will be able to do it. Even when we started Bonus BioGroup about 12 years ago, what we had is a few mice with tiny bone of 5 millimeter in size. Um, Today, we have tens of patients working among us, and their tissue was created in vitro. And you have people that were in a wheelchair for years started walking again because we're able to grow their newborn. Currently in Israel, because of 7th of October and the war, you have many young people that have lost tissues. And we are more than happy we opened additional medical center in the south of Israel in order to be able to help all those people in the south and to help them to prevent imputation of the arms or leg that were damaged due to the situation.
Looking, more broadly, uh, you're dedicating your life basically to this mission. It sounds like you've been doing this ever since your academia, and obviously you're 12 years into this specific journey, and it sounds like the passion is just starting. But what really is your main driver here? So if you look at sort of your big motivations.
I think the fact that we are doing things that nobody did it before. We are the first and only one having the ability to grow those tissues. You know, just this January, there was the big conference of advanced therapy, and we won the, the reward for the most innovative group in the world within this field. Nobody else does it. And the fact that we are capable of growing, we're starting with bone, but bone is only the beginning. We are working on other tissue as well, and we are working on other organ in parallel. And our goal is to be able to supply replace part for all. And we're on the way.
Well, I can only imagine a world in which we all get to be healed, and through the work of Bonus BioGroup, and what you're doing. And it sounds like it's not just a journey for the short term, but it's definitely a journey for the long term. And it sounds like you have a vision for how the technology you're building and the innovations you're doing are going to be implemented at large scales, and impact people's lives dramatically. You talked before about the wheelchair example, and I can only imagine the impact this can have on one person, and how life changing it can be. So I can only imagine then, if you get a chance to multiply it. Best of luck with the expansion, Shai. It sounds like this is a very important year, an important timing, and so wishing you best of luck. I'm sure that we're all rooting for you. It's so important, and thank you very much for everything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Bye bye.
Bye.